Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the new patch notes as well as the new Spirit Blossom. So, I mentioned something about the Spirit Blossom. It's an event, and with this new event comes a new lab, an event pass, exclusive items, and an epic quests. So I'll talk about that after we talk about the patch notes. So obviously the patch notes talk about the Spirit Blossom event. I'll talk about that in a second. I thought we'd start first though with the card updates, which are the biggest thing. Let's just get this out of the way, right? So first we got Heimerdinger. Huge nerf, can't even tell you. So the 3 mana turret became the Fearsome turret, the 4 mana became the Overwhelm, and the 6 mana became the Florbegone, obviously with powers equal to their cost. So the elusive turret becoming the 6 cost turret is a huge nerf. It means that you can't be making, free elusive units with Heimerdinger to close out the game. It means that you have to be casting 6 cost spells now, which are really hard to justify being in the deck, which means that you really have to stretch far if you're going to play Heimerdinger now, which means that I can't continue my video series now because the deck I was playing with was the old Heimerdinger. Sorry, I'm dying. I was doing it based off the idea that the old Heimerdinger was what I was doing. Now that they have this new version of Heimerdinger, the old deck is basically out of it. Like, it doesn't work the same anymore. So besides me having to pick up a new main, Heimerdinger got a serious nerf. This card wasn't even in the meta too much. But as I said before, Heimerdinger Vi has been one of the longest lasting decks in the game. And so this nerf makes perfect sense. And I actually think the new card design for it is awesome. And I mean awesome as in fair. The free elusive turns by casting 3 cost spells was just too overpowered. So I think this is going to make a lot new versions of Heimerdinger. People are probably going to experiment with it before dropping it because it's just not good enough. Sorry guys, I'm kind of losing my voice. I don't know if you can tell, but I actually recorded this whole video and then I lost the recording. So, or I'm having to redo it. So next we have Braum. His power went from 1 to 0, and when he's level 2, his power went from 2 to 1. So the fact that when he's not leveled up, he has 0 power is huge. It means he can't make good trades anymore. It means he can't kill 1 health units anymore. It means that over 2 attack tokens, he can't actually kill units with 2 HP. He's no longer that powerful anymore because he doesn't get you free value with killing something. He just gets you a Mighty Poro, and if he levels up, same difference, right? So the fact is now that Braum is actually not going to be a meta standard anymore. Obviously, before he had 0 power, right? So this is just an improvement from the old Braum. But from the current Braum, where we had him with 1 power and a Mighty Poro, this is a huge nerf, right? So Braum's going to kind of fall back to where he was before, except with the added bonus of having almost an immediate impact, although he has no longer good value trades. Alright, so Agnivia went from 2 health to 1 health. I really could not have, this is a very low impact nerf. Going from 2 health to 1 health really is like not a huge deal for the card. I mean, it can be static shocked now, but that's very minor, fact. It's not really that huge of a deal. His Anivia wasn't even in the meta right now, and the egg is not meant to survive. Really, it's meant to be killed and take value from your opponent. Now it's just taking less value, to be honest. Relentless Pursuit went from fast speed to slow speed. This is impactful because Relentless Pursuit now can't be cast in response to a spell and give you a free attack token. You have to cast it and then play it and pass priority to your opponent, which means you don't get the attack right away. Your opponent gets it. So this is going to matter in some situations. Other situations, you'd be playing this card at slow speed anyway. But like, this is going to matter if you're playing Bannerman or any Demacia strategy. Arena Bookie went from 2 cost, or went from 3 to 2, and its health went from 1 to 2. So this card got purely buffed. I still think, sorry, this is a bad card, but it's actually workable around now. Being 2 mana actually means that you can, oh geez, 2 mana is workable, right? And I think that this card could work in a lot of different scenarios. And so I think that, personally, I'm going to try this card out. But I still think that being a 2/2 for 2 that just makes you cycle a card is not the best. Basilisk Rider went from 5 power to 4 power. So while this might seem big, right? But it's actually minor. 4 power versus 5 power is just 1 power away from killing your opponent. The Harrowing deck almost always goes overkill. Almost always kills your opponent more than they have life. So this being the case means that in certain matchups where your opponent's going to be gaining a lot of life or have a bigger blocker, you're not going to get as much damage in. But overall, it doesn't change the deck archetype at all. Now this card does. Crimson Disciple. When I survive damage, deal 1 damage to the Imminent Nexus instead of 2. This card has completely changed. I can only see this working in very specific decks. Like, no, not even. It's not good enough anymore. It's a 2-mana 2/3 that now people aren't going to be scared to block with if they're not going to kill it because, I mean, 1 damage is better than 2, right? If they don't block it, they're taking 2. But if they do, they're only taking 1. So that changes the viability of this card to be a playable 2-drop. And it no longer works well with Anime Girl because it just doesn't deal, that 1 damage. So, usually you would be getting 1/2 activations, which is 4 damage. Now that's halved. You're doing half damage. That is awful. Legion Grenadier went from 1 health to 2 health, and it now deals 1 damage to the enemy nexus when it dies. So, instead of being a 3/1 that deals 2, it now is a 3/2 that deals 1. I think that the 1 damage given to the 1 health means it's a less aggressive card, but it actually survives better and makes you have better trades. So, it's now more of a mid-rangey card that belongs in aggro. Like, instead of dealing that 2 damage, it actually gained an HP, which means it can kill an extra thing, it's harder to chump block, all those different things. So this card probably got a buff. I'm not going to lie. But we got Flash of Brilliance, 3 to 4. Basically a nerf to only Heimerdinger, and this card's just bad. Never play it anymore. The only place I think you would play it is Lux. Now, I say that very lightly because Lux doesn't play this card, but now being 4 mana means you're only 2 mana away from leveling up Lux, which is a lot of cards in your deck. And it creates a 6-cost spell, which you can cast now. So being 1 extra cost might not necessarily be a buff in Lux, nerf in Lux, but the card is still just not as good, right? Sump Dredger went from 2 to 3 mana, and now it says you discard and draw. So instead of being a 2 mana 4/3 with the downside of discarding, it's now a 3 mana 4/3 that just cycles a card in your hand. And same with Zonite Urchin, except she already said you draw a card when she dies, but now she doesn't have to die, she just has to enter the battlefield, right? Shadow Assassin went from 2 power to 1 power. This is huge. The 1 power means it can kill a lot less things when you're trading. The fact that it deals 1 damage to the enemy nexus is so bad because your clock is doubled. And you weren't playing this card because it was a 3 mana elusive creature that draws you a card. That's a chump blocker. You're not playing it for that reason. If you wanted to play that, just play as Zonite Urchin or something else. You're playing this because it's a 3 mana 2/2 with elusive that has the upside of drawing a card. So it's basically a Solitary Monk, but with 1 less power, 1 less health, with an upside. Now, it's a Solitary Monk with 2 less power, and that just sucks. 1 power is not enough to be impactful at all. I would usually say that this nerf wasn't big, except you weren't playing this for the cards, or you were playing this for the body. The fact that the body got nerfed means that this card's not going to be played at all, because that's the only reason why you're playing it. You're just playing the draw card as an upside. You're not playing the card for the draw. You're playing it for the body. And now that the body's gone, you're not playing it at all, right? Steel Tempest went from 3 to 2. This is probably replacing the other stun card, Concussive Palm, I think. I think it's Concussive Pop. Yeah, it's Concussive Pop. Let me... I'm probably wrong, but... it's replacing that card. Because although that card's basically a 2-mana Steel Tempest with 2 mana summon a 3/2. You don't need the 3 mana... You don't need the 2 mana 3/2. You want the Steel Tempest, though, because it's 2 mana. So it works a lot better. It takes up less mana, which means you're being more efficient. And just the stun in this meta is huge. With so many mid-range and cards like Sejuani, I found that this card is amazing. Like, just amazing. River Shaper went from 1 health to 2 health. Doesn't matter that much. The archetype hasn't been in, and 1 health won't make it in. If it was a 3-mana 2/3 or a 2/4, maybe. But 2 health is not going to change this card. Oh my gosh. Will of Ionia went from 4 to 3. I think that this was necessary. This card was OP, but I don't know if this was... I don't know. This card feels unplayable. It feels so bad to play when you're playing it at 5 mana, and it's going to get you a lot less value on trading. When you're trying to bounce something, you're bouncing it for 1 more mana. That's huge. And it just makes your trades a lot worse. So I think this card's probably a 0 of or a 1 of in most of my Ionia decks. Jeez. I just don't think it's good enough. So, yeah, that's my opinion. Golden Narwhal went from 3 to 2 cost and 4 to 3 health. So now it's a 2-mana 2/3 with Elusive and Vulnerable. Vulnerable only matters in mid-range matchups where they actually want to kill it. Everything else, you're either playing against aggro where they don't care and they're just going to attack you anyway, or you're playing against a control matchup where they don't want to actually sacrifice something into this, or they don't have anything big enough to kill this. They're going to be using spells. So while this card could do really well in a certain metagame and actually activate plunder effects in a lot of situations, in this metagame, it just sucks, right? It's not going to do much. Hunting Fleet didn't really change. They made it a 4-mana 6/6 to compensate for changing the Narwhal. Still 4-mana 6/6. That's really a 4-mana 4-3 because of the Golden Narwhal, right? That just is not value at all, especially because the Narwhal actually has Elusive. So basically, this is like an extra rewards road. So basically, you can get pets, emotes, gems, card backs, and icons from all of this stuff. Now, for most of it, you have to have bought a event pass for 1,000 coins. But if you don't buy it, you do get some stuff. You get, as you go on, you actually get rewards for free if you don't buy it. If you do buy it, you get a ton of stuff. And it's actually, what? How much is it for 1,000 coins? For the sheer amount of emotes and pets you're getting, and shards, and icons even, that you're getting from paying $10 into the game is actually going to give you way more than you paid into it. Now, the question is, do you want these emotes or pets or card backs or whatever? I actually really like these card backs. I think I might just buy it for the card backs themselves. The emotes, though, are actually going to be really important if you're anything like me and care about what emotes you have. I actually kind of like a couple of these. Here you go. So here are the event quests. So these quests give you XP, right? Your normal quest. So while you get normal XP for this, for these ones, you get the little Lotus Petals things, right? But you get these little Lotus Petal things, which are like XP. And over here, they count towards your rewards. So it's actually a really cool quest thing that I think is going to take up a lot of time. But if you're invested into it, it's probably really worth it. We have the Bestow Lab, which I won't say anything. Pretend you even saw it, because I'm doing a video on that next time. But, yeah, that's been it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and found this video useful. I am super excited for this new metagame and the new Blossom event. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.